Here's the story of a man named Brady who was busy winning 6 rings for the Pats, 4 of them an MVP with Gronk and Billy, and you just can't teach that. Here's the story of a team in Tampa. All they needed was to get a great QB. Until then, they were not great, quite mediocre, the middle of the league. Till the one day when the Pats got rid of Brady, 'cause the coach thought the great one couldn't sling. So he packed up his bags and moved to Tampa and won a 7th ring. A 7th ring. A 7th ring. That's the way that the GOAT won his 7th ring.
Marsha.
What's up? Tuesday night. What's up, Home Team Sports? I am the Big Alboski with Anthony Joseph. And conspicuous by his absence is Prince Shango. And I would like everybody watching to please say a prayer for our boy. He is fighting an illness, and he is at the doctor's right now, and he will not be joining us tonight. Cousin Phil, I don't know. I haven't heard from him all day, but we'll see if Cousin Phil shows up. And Anthony, I'd be remiss if I did not mention the fact that we had the passing away of Coach Marty Schottenheimer, who coached most of his career with the Chargers, right? I think he also had a couple of stints with the Browns, a couple other teams. But Marty Schottenheimer was 77 years old, and he was fighting a disease, and he lost his battle. And I rest in peace, Marty Schottenheimer.
Yeah, definitely. 7 years of Alzheimer's, man. That's
Alzheimer's. That was it.
that's insane.
I couldn't even. Yeah, he fought Alzheimer's. But this past Sunday we had the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady won ring number 7, much to the chagrin of you, much to the chagrin of Shango, much to the chagrin of most of everybody, because just like the Yankees, you either love or you hate Tom Brady. So I gotta say, you guys should have let me stuck with Kansas City.
I should just.
But we talked pre-show, and I agree with some of the stuff that you said. There was way too many flags. They certainly did not let them play. The game looked rigged to many people. That's all I've been hearing. But I mean, honestly, though, the game, I honestly think the game was over before it started. You had offensive linemen hurt. You had Mahomes. I'm not making excuses, but you had Mahomes playing on one leg. He has to have ankle surgery next week because he got hurt in the Bills game. He got hurt before that, I believe, in the round before the divisional round.
Yep, the Bills
and they weren't sure he was going to play the AFC Championship game, and he did heroically, and they won against the Bills. But this game was a joke. I was so pissed off because I wanted Brady versus Mahomes. I wanted like the heavyweight title fight, and we didn't get that. We got a wipe job.
Yeah, you didn't get that. I mean, the Chiefs, they were down so many linemen. It was Mahomes had the most yards ran behind the line of scrimmage this season. He ran for 500 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You can't win football games when you're running that much.
Some of the stuff he was doing, though, like when he was running backwards and he was falling down and he throws the ball while he's throwing. Who else can do that? There's nobody else that can do that.
You know what was amazing? Was some of those balls were hitting the guys right in the face, and they weren't catching them.
He almost scored 2 touchdowns running back like 10, 15 yards and then falling down and throwing it like this when he was about to like hit the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady can't do that. Brady can't do that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Tom Brady will obviously go down as the greatest. 7 championships, 5 MVPs.
5 MVPs.
I don't know how many MVPs he has in the league, but I'm just talking about the Super Bowl. But there's a difference between greatness and talent. He doesn't have the most talent. He knows how to manage a game.
The streaker was down on the 1 yard line, no touchdown. That's right. Security got him on the 1. That's right. Yo, Joe.
I think there might have been a flag on that play though, because that security guard was headhunting. He was headhunting.
If you haven't heard the audio of the streaker, this is what happens on TV. Right? On TV, they cut to a commercial, right? Jim Nantz says, okay, there's a guy on the field. We're going to go to commercial right now while they take care of this. And then they went to commercial. But on the radio, they don't go to commercial when that shit happens, right? And Kevin Holland, who's been calling the Super Bowl for the past like 12 years on Westwood One, on every radio station in the country nationwide, he was calling the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Go on YouTube. And type in the radio call of the streaker at the Super Bowl. Funniest shit you'll ever hear because he called it. He called the whole thing. He said he's at the 40. He's at the 30. He makes a cut. He slides down at the end and he's yelling, "Pull your pants up, man. Be a man. Take the bra off." Like, it was great. You got to hear it.
I can't tell you this is absolutely true, but I've been reading stories where this guy was at a bar and they dropped like 50 grand to get plus 750 that there would be a streaker during the game. So
really?
he went streaking for the bet.
So that was a parlay.
375,000. His buddy bailed him out for 1,000, so they won 374,000.
Wow.
Yep, that's the rumor.
It would make sense in this day and age with all the legal gambling, you know.
Well, they had people sit outside of the stadium a few days before when they were practicing the national anthem, and there was people timing it because there's a bet how long it's going to go. So people were actually trying to time it.
There's bets on everything. There's prop bets on how long the national anthem is going to be.
Yep.
There's prop bets on, you know, which song is first on the halftime show. It's like
the Gatorade pissed me off.
Why? Because you didn't pick blue?
I had clear.
You had clear.
Because if you look back through the years, like the last 10 years, every time it was orange, the next year was clear. Last year was orange. It should have been clear.
I listened to WIP, and Keith Jones, he's a hockey analyst. He was on, and he actually bet. He bet $50 on blue. And he had it right. So kudos to him. Kudos to whoever picked blue. But like I said, I wanted a good game. It was a lame ass game, like 31-9. The Buccaneers defense was spectacular. I'm not going to take that away from them.
No, they played a good game. They had a good game plan.
They had an easy offensive line to go up against too.
When you can get pressure of 4, you can drop back and cover everybody.
They pressured him 29 times, which is a record in the Super Bowl. But they only sacked him 3 times, and he's on a bum ankle. So I mean, that's amazing.
Because if you've seen on some of the plays when they had D-backs just run at him, he juked them out.
Yeah, he would juke them out, or he would run back 10 yards and try to make something happen. I mean, he's insane. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And Tom Brady got what?
You can't knock that kid for trying. He played the whole game. He gave it everything he had. It just wasn't enough that night.
So an update of the standings from the postseason. I and Philip had the Super Bowl correct. So Philip ended 7-7. I ended up 11-3. And you and Shango, the best friends, stayed at 9-5. And Shango has to wear an Eagles jersey come next football season because he lost the bet that he decided to make.
Yeah, I'm done with those bets.
Not my fault. That's not my fault.
Everybody that's bet on this show loses. So don't do that.
I'm not making any bet. All right, so that begs the question then, is Tom Brady the GOAT of GOATs? And what I mean by that is in team sports. I'm not talking golf or tennis. Don't throw Tiger Woods at me. Is Tom Brady the GOAT of GOATs in team sports, in any team sport?
I don't know enough on hockey, so the great one I can't really talk on.
I mean, but you know who that is. Like you can know nothing about hockey and you know who Wayne Gretzky is.
Yeah, but if you know nothing about football, you know who Tom Brady is.
Right. Or Michael Jordan, or
that's upset.
LeBron. I mean, who does he belong in the conversation?
He's definitely in the conversation. I mean, like I said, when you talk about goats of goats, I think some of it has to go to talent.
Yeah.
And even though he's probably the greatest quarterback to manage a game, does he have
There's
some of
more
the
talented
talents?
quarterback, right?
There's more talent.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
And when Jordan was on the court, he was the most talented guy on the court. Hands down.
And a lot of people make the case for
LeBron. LeBron, that's fine. When he's on the court, he's the most talented. I mean,
but the LeBron's been to 10 championships just like this guy, and LeBron's only won 4.
No, he's got 6, doesn't he?
No, he has 4. I looked it up. He has 4 titles. He has 4.
That's horrible.
He has 6 losses.
Well, he won what? One in Miami. What he won?
One with Miami, 1 with Cleveland, 2 with the Lakers.
No, 2 with
2 with Miami. I'm sorry.
Miami, yeah.
1 Cleveland, 2 with Miami, 1 with the Lakers.
The big knock I have on LeBron is every time he goes somewhere, he brings an entourage with him of just heavily talented athletes.
Well, they all want to play with him, or he goes on a team that already had that.
Yeah.
I mean, with Cleveland, he did go back to Cleveland and win one with Cleveland, and all he didn't have much support there.
No, he had Kyrie, but
but I'm saying it's my answer to that question is if you're just talking football, he's the GOAT. But if you're talking about all team sports, it's up for debate in my book.
It's murky. Yeah.
All right, so the NFL had their awards. You mentioned them. Do you want to go through them, or do you want me to?
No, you can go through them, and we can cover them.
All right, so the NFL Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year was Justin Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers.
I told you this all year. Kid was the best.
He was, and he was out. He does seem to have what it takes to be a quarterback in this league. I see him doing well if they build.
Even on a bad team, he looked good.
And if they build the team around him, though, that's the key. I mean, they have to do that.
They gotta get.
That's the one thing.
Get him a little bit more protection up front, and maybe not.
Some GMs, though, they don't do it. Though some GMs like get a guy like this, and they don't build the team around him.
Well, the Chargers already done this once with Drew Brees, so here's your second chance.
Right. So Chase Young then was Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He was a beast
all year. A beast. He's a beast. He's going to be a beast in this league. Some other notables. The league MVP was Aaron Rodgers. Kind of obvious there. Without Aaron Rodgers, I don't think Green Bay does anything. What else did we have, Anthony? The Art Rooney Award was Teddy Bridgewater.
Comeback Player of the Year.
Comeback Player of the Year, Alex Smith. Alex Smith of the Washington football team.
As I was telling you beforehand, if you watch the video of him receiving that award, that's just awesome. And
tearful.
Very
tearful thing.
The guy basically overcame almost losing his leg to playing at the highest stage.
Yeah.
And he did good. He did great.
My phone is just
Coach
acting up right now. All right,
Coach
so
Chase
Wong, Alex Smith. What else do we got here? Coach of the Year was Kevin Stefanski.
The Browns, which he did a great job.
Great job with the Browns, sure. Offensive Player of the Year was Derrick Henry. Of course, anybody that had him on in Fantasy League know how good he was all year. Defensive Player of the Year was Aaron Donald from the Rams. And the Walter Payton Award, we'll finish it up with the Walter Payton Award went to Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Who every year is just a humanitarian, one of the faces of the league. So, and that's the NFL. That's all we got for the NFL in 2021. We won't talk about the NFL again until the draft. We got baseball coming up, though. We got spring training coming up. Anthony tells me we got hockey and NBA still ongoing, and when Shango comes back, he'll talk about NBA every week. He's my NBA guy, go-to guy. Anthony, do you have any baseball going on right now?
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. Like I was telling you earlier, you came up with the health and safety protocol for 2021. It's going to be a full 162 games with a full spring training. The players are going to go into a 5-day quarantine before spring training starts. So, and they're going to wear no indoor dining over 10 people for them. They're going to get tested every other day. They're going to wear contact tracing devices. So they're going to have devices on them. So the moment one person tests positive, they'll be able to just look back at the data and see who is around him for how long and quarantine them.
Keep a control.
Yep. Few free agency signings. We had Ozuna. He signed back with Atlanta for 4 years, $65 million. He had the Trevor Bauer saga. He signed with the Dodgers for a boatload of money.
Yadier Molina.
The first year is $40 million. The second year is $45 million.
I don't know where they're getting this money with no fans in the stands. Are they gonna have fans in the stands?
I guess they're gonna wait on that. I haven't really seen anything on that.
There was 25,000 people at the Super Bowl. They had them spread out by cardboard cutouts. So when you first saw it come on TV, it looked like a full house. I was like, "What the hell?"
Well, that was played in the state of Florida, where they don't have those rules right now.
But still, they had 25,000. That's the largest gathering since COVID came.
Yep.
So,
Crush Davis got traded to Texas for Elvis Andrus. Chris Archer signed with the Rays. The Mets signed Jonathan Villar and Alberto Amaro Jr.
Okay.
The Reds signed Doolittle. Cubs signed Jock Peterson.
Ben.
St. Louis signed Yadier Molina.
1 year, right?
Yeah, 1 year. 1 year deal. Jonathan Scope's going back to the Tigers. And Sora's going back. Oh, no, he's not going back. He's going to the D-backs. The closer. So a lot of stuff went on this weekend.
When does spring training start?
I believe it is February 17th. We're about a week out.
We're a week out of spring training. How about that?
Yeah, it's going to be like I said, the Dodgers and the Dodgers and the Padres have become like the Yankees and Red Sox of the West. It's going to be a very interesting year out there.
Yeah, and we're not going to talk tonight much about the NBA or the NHL, but what's that? Joe Peterson signing could be a good one.
Jock Peterson, yeah.
Jock Peterson sign.
I mean, he was the guy that the Dodgers really didn't give the time to develop, and definitely a new place for him. Definitely can help.
But we will when Shango, and in case you guys just joined us, Shango is at the doctor's, and so say some prayers for him for a speedy recovery. For Shango, cousin Phil may or may not pop in here at all, but Anthony and I talked about as much of the Super Bowl as we could. One thing we didn't mention about the Super Bowl was the commercials, and usually the commercials have that one commercial everybody remembers. This year, the one that popped in my head, like that, like if I'm thinking about them, and it just happened on Sunday. So the one that I can't get out of my head was like the Rocket Mortgage Tracy Morgan one, where he's like is this a good idea or not a good idea to get a mortgage? And he's like in the car with the family, and they're trying to make a jump, and his face goes when they like it's a bad idea. There's that one, and then there was like Edward Scissorhands' son with Winona Ryder.
Wasn't Tracy Morgan the guy who got in an accident on the turnpike?
I know that was the ironic, funny part of it.
Mm.
By a Walmart truck. He got hit by a Walmart truck. But there was one with Winona Ryder, and she had like a son, the son of Edward Scissorhands. Yeah. And it was about that car that drives itself.
Oh, okay.
And so with his scissor hands, all he had to do was push a button, and it would drive straight or whatever. It was funny.
The Ashton Kutcher one was pretty good.
Yeah, Ashton and Mila Kunis.
Yeah. She threw the Cheetos out the window or something.
LeBron has 4. There you go, TJ. There you go, TJ. If he don't know, who knows? And like I said, we're talking about go-to-goats. He's been in 10.
So he's been to 10 and he's lost.
He's been in 10 and he's 4-6.
Mm.
So I'm just saying, like, Brady's 7-3.
Thank you, Eli, man.
And I know football. You can argue football and basketball. One guy makes a difference more so in basketball than football. I get it, but you could argue that all day. But that's, like I said, those are the Super Bowl commercials I remember. Anybody else see a commercial? Like, I remember one that was raining lemons or something like that. It was a Bud Light seltzer commercial, and the guy gets hit in the face with a lemon, and kind of like
sense.
It was making
never makes sense.
It was making fun of 2020. It was saying 2020 was a lemon of a year. So when it rains lemons, you got to make lemonade. Budweiser seltzer lemonade.
Interesting.
That's the way it was, but there was no big major to-do commercials. There was no funny ones that people were talking about the next day, Monday when I went out working. So I mean,
I wonder if the ratings were down this year too.
They were. I did look that up. They were. There were less people that watched the Super Bowl this year than last year. For what that's worth, I don't know what the reason was, because I mean, you had Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady. I mean, I think that's a cool matchup, but I mean, if you look at it a little deeper than Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City and Tampa are 2 small market teams.
Yeah.
So you don't have the Dallas Cowboys or the Eagles or the Giants or the Raiders or LA Rams or those Chicago Bears, big market 49ers.
That's where Tom Brady originally wanted to go. You know that?
He did. Yeah.
He wanted to go to the Niners.
And my son don't believe me when I say that. He wanted to go to. He wanted to
turn him down.
Tampa Bay was his second choice.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, "Oh, he went to a stacked team and he brought this guy and he brought that guy."
I did.
Gronk was shit in the regular season, but you get him to the Super Bowl and he's Gronk of the Patriots.
No.
He had a monster game. He had 2 touchdowns. Ratings were lowest since 2007.
2007 was a big year.
That's nuts, though. I mean, that's
2007. I mean, that was the year. I mean, that was the undefeated Patriots against the Giants.
Right.
That was one of the most watched Super Bowls.
Because if you were rooting for the Patriots to be undefeated, or you were rooting for the Giants to upset that.
Yeah, that was the big story.
To be honest with you, and you're not going to believe me, I was rooting for the Giants in that game.
I don't believe you.
It's the truth. It's the truth. I didn't want the fucking Patriots to be undefeated.
That team was stacked too. That team was extremely stacked. Moss was. If that guy would have had if you had a quarterback the whole career, he'd be the greatest of all time.
His whole career, he has done this. He has usually, got with, Belichick always had the GM powers to who to draft, who to bring in as free agents. Yep. So he's got with Belichick. He says, "Oh, give me this guy, give me that guy, give me this guy, give me that guy." Like him and Belichick made these teams stack, to get them there.
I'm saying, if Randy Moss had a quarterback like Tom Brady or Favre always wanted Moss or Peyton, he'd have been the greatest of all time. That dude is impossible to cover.
Randy Moss was one of the greatest of all time. He's like in
the
top.
But no, he would have been the greatest, no argument.
Oh, I know, but he's like in the top 5, right? Top 3, statistically speaking. I think it's like Jerry Rice, him, and T.O. are the top 3 of all time.
Off the top of my head, I would say probably.
I know. Who's the greatest? Wait, Randy. What was that? Randy would have been the best ever, no question.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
who's the greatest running back of all time in the NFL? That's an interesting one.
That's an argument because you got either Barry or Emmett.
Right.
And Emmett,
if you say
the longer career.
Right. If you say Emmett, it's because he has the most yards of all time, but he stayed in the league a couple extra years to do that, going to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And I don't know. He had the best. He had one of the best offensive lines of all time. Barry Sanders did not. But Barry Sanders was a threat to go the distance every time he touched the ball.
He made people miss. It made people look very stupid.
I'm a Cowboys fan, and I say Barry.
Yeah. Yeah, I would probably go Barry too.
I'm afraid that my son.
It's hard to argue with Emmett's stats, but he had the longer career.
I'm afraid that my son's generation just don't know who he was because he ended his career so quick, so soon.
So he retired when I was young, so I never really got the full, without watching clips and stuff, the full Barry Sanders effect.
I tell you, I just enjoyed watching him play, and the Lions were always on Thanksgiving all the time, and so so locally you always watch the Eagles, the Jets, the Giants, the Steelers around here, right? Yeah. But the Detroit Lions were always on Thanksgiving, so I always look forward to that because I get to watch Barry Sanders play.
Yep.
Only Lions could have wasted Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders.
Seriously.
And Calvin Johnson got into the Hall of Fame, so
And a lot of people were not crazy about that. Him going in first ballot.
I mean, they never really had, the Lions back then when they had Johnson and Sanders, they never really had that elite quarterback.
They never built a defense.
That too. But I mean, they had all this talent, but they had it seemed like they had quarterback by committee.
Yeah.
They never put somebody in there, like a Brett Favre or a Aaron Rodgers or somebody that could win you a title.
Joey Harrington.
Joey Harrington. There's a name. Joey Harrington, right?
They thought he was going to be so great.
Oh my God.
That didn't work out.
They've never really drafted well. It was that Barry Sanders was their claim to fame, but the Detroit Lions are one of those teams in the NFL that have never been. It's not like they've even lost a Super Bowl. They've never been there.
Yeah. I mean,
it's sad to think about, but it's the truth.
And just don't have the right people building those teams.
Yes, sir. So, like I said, I'm going to put this up here, and I'm going to put this up here for exactly 30 seconds while we talk about something else. Just remember, when I put this up here on the bottom, Anthony, we're not going to talk about that banner down there. So I want you to talk about anything else. Talk about the weather. Talk about whatever you want. Do you understand?
All right.
So there's more snow in the forecast later on this week. I think it's Thursday.
Yeah, they're saying a few more inches.
Yeah,
it could get crazy.
I heard maybe some footage.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we already got enough that it's gonna be here until springtime. So,
Yeah, and I often get criticized about not talking about other sports like the NHL or the NBA, but I mean, I'm working on that. Like I'm working on that as far as like, it's not my fault that Anthony's my baseball guy and Phil's my football guy and Phil's not here. Shango's my NBA guy. TJ is an NBA guy we can use. My son is a big NBA fan. He could use. But I mean, there's not too many sports out there. I mean, we're going to talk about what's relevant right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like right in the moment, we're going to talk about what's relevant right now. You know what I mean? So if you guys have any suggestions about what you want us to talk about, send them to me. I'll be glad to take everything in consideration.
I mean,
and that,
there's stuff that happens on 78 more interesting than other stuff,
Yeah, I get you. All right, so we're going to do a quick commercial right now, which is when it comes to natural relief, turn to Dr. Brown CBD. Dr. Brown CBD uses the latest scientific knowledge, experienced professionals to create top-of-the-line CBD products at affordable prices. Go to www.momandpopcbdshop.com and check out all the stuff online, and you can order online. They offer free shipping, blah, 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 blah. But you can mention this ad at one of the 5 locations in Washington, Hackettstown, Bechtelsville, Wind Gap, or Easton, PA, and tell them the Big Alboski sent you.
I heard that's what keeps Tom Brady young. So
CBD?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it is quite a pain reliever kind of thing. I've tried the gummies and things like that. I have pain in my shoulder, pain in my back, and it does make you feel relaxed without having the THC marijuana part. It does make you feel like at ease for what it's worth, and it's natural stuff. It's not drugs, so it is what it is. The thing is, marijuana is going to be legal soon anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody's going to be doing that rather than the CBD stuff. But to me, if you don't want the euphoria, or if you don't want the haziness of when you smoke weed or whatever,
it's the best way to go. Then
it's a natural alternative, and it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to. We have an opiate crisis. TJ, our boy TJ Spitter's doing an addiction awareness month this week. Every single episode has something to do with addiction. He's going to have somebody on tomorrow night who battled with addiction, who could tell you firsthand how to deal with that. TJ had an interview on Super Bowl Sunday, right at around 6:00, where his wife was interviewing him, and it was mind blowing. It was awesome. How open he was, and she was asking him the hard hitting questions. This Sunday, not this Saturday. This Sunday on Around the Turnbuckle is I got to bring this up here because I have it. Is Jai Cole. Jai Cole, Sunday the 14th at 6:00. Jai Cole. So catch that. This Saturday we don't have a guest as of yet. We may or may not have a guest this weekend, but we will be on Saturday at 6:00. Catch that.
It's not Shango, right?
What?
It's not Shango again, right?
No. Speaking of Shango, though, on the 11th, Thursday 11th, it's the Shango Royal Roast, which is at 7 p.m. right here on 2M1L and on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. Catch that out, the Royal Roast. He's got 2 actual comedians who are going to roast him. I'm going to roast him, and possibly a couple others are going to roast him, and then he's going to roast us. So that should be fun. That should be fun. I have plenty. Listen, I got plenty of dirt on him to roast him up.
I mean, you could visit his TikTok thing. He'd be good to go.
Well, it is what it is. Unbelievable. So like one last thing I want to bring up, which will, set you on fire, is over the weekend, Adam Schefter reported that Carson Wentz is being traded. And the teams that are interested were the Bears and the Colts. So have you heard anything? Where do you think he should go? No, wait, don't answer that. Where do you think he's going to end up?
Well, he's obviously going to be traded. I keep hearing first-round draft picks, and when you think of Carson Wentz, you got to be insane. Give up a first-round draft pick.
Well, he was a first-round draft pick.
Just because he was one doesn't mean you get one for him.
I mean, it could be a conditional thing where, depending on how good or bad he does.
No, because it sounds like they want this year. They want to pick. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've heard the Niners tied to this too.
Robert Everett says he's going to the Broncos. What's up, Robert?
The Broncos.
Robert watches us every week, and he loves the camaraderie between you and Shango. He tells me that. He works with my son over there, and then so every morning on my way to work, I go get a coffee, and he works third shift. And then he tells me, he's like, "Oh my God, I love it when you piss off Anthony and Shango." And I'm like, and he was watching when I picked the Chiefs initially. Your head goes down. And he was like, "Oh, Anthony was pissed off." And I'm like, I know. Colts make the most sense with Reich, but he's not worth a first rounder, right? Well, yeah.
I think the Bears should just trade Foles for Wentz straight up. Let's just go back to square one.
I would take that. I'm telling you right now, I would take that. And there's Eagles fans out there that I've talked to, like, you don't want that. You don't want Jalen Hurts looking over his shoulder at the Super Bowl MVP.
Did you watch Foles play this year?
Exactly. Here's my point. He's a solid backup. He's not a starter in the league. He proved that wherever he went. When he went to the Rams, he was not a starter. When he went to Chicago, he was not a starter. Come on. Mitchell Trubisky beat him out. So my point is he's a solid backup, and the only time he's ever done well is in Philadelphia. So why not have him there in the locker room? The guys know him. He can help Jalen Hurts get better. He can be an extra coach out on the field for Jalen Hurts. Why not? Eagles fans, no, we don't want to cook. It's not going to be a quarterback controversy. You bring him in as your backup. We get rid of Wentz in that contract.
Yeah, but it looks like the Eagles have a lot of dead money though when it comes to cap.
Okay, but
it's going to be like $38 million, I think they said.
My point is we get rid of Wentz. We bring back Foles. I don't care about draft picks. The Eagles think he's worth more than he is.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I've seen a report where they wanted 2 first rounders.
Yeah, they're nuts. they're nuts. Howie Roseman is nuts. If he's asking for that, he's crazy.
You can't sell a guy that had probably
I heard they asked
worst year of his life.
They asked the Colts for one of their linebackers and a first round pick. What's his name? Darius.
They should be happy to unload him.
Exactly. They're nuts. What do you guys think of Hurts? Well, don't ask Anthony that, Michael, because I'll tell you right now, he's going to say he sucks because he hates the Eagles. But I'll tell you what I think of Hurts. I got to see more. All right? I'm not going to judge him yet because I saw 4 games. I've seen him in college, but that's college. You build some team around. They have the 6th pick in the draft. If you get him a wide receiver or something like that, you build up the offensive line. They got Barrett Brooks coming back. They got Lance Johnson coming back. Maybe Kelsey. I don't know. I got to see more to judge Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to judge.
I think what you got to figure out is exactly. You guys see more. You guys see more him in the pocket because we've seen this. We've seen this before. This is
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson 2.0. Teams are going to learn what he can do and what he can't do,
right?
And they're going to make him do what he can't do, and that might be throwing from the pocket. And
you say, Hurts is out week 14, and then Nick comes in and wins the Super Bowl. The only problem with that, Robert, is that the Eagles in week 14 are going to be 5-9 at that point.
I've seen the power ratings for next year already. Eagles were 28th.
Yeah. And where else would they be? They were 4-11.
Yeah.
If they lost to the Bengals, they would have been 4-12.
But that tells you people don't believe in Hurts, you know.
Why wouldn't they believe in Hurts? I mean, when he came in and played the Saints, he looked great.
Yeah.
You know, and he would have beat the Redskins in the final game if they didn't tank it.
Yeah, I think the Saints they had such a good record, and I think everybody seen that like as a badge of honor. That Saints team was beat up, waiting to get beat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And they didn't have Breeze. If they had Breeze, it might have been a different story.
Thomas played hurt all year.
Does Breeze come back? Because I keep hearing different things about that.
He wants to die.
What?
Said if he wants to die. They broke what? They broke what? 11 ribs.
It's hard for him to walk away, though. He's kind of like the Ric Flair of the NFL, right? He just he don't want to leave.
But the arm strain ain't there.
We saw it.
It's gonna. You know, you see these guys go past their prime because they love it, but his time is hard.
Like Brett Favre.
Yeah. Favre had a gun. Even at the end. I mean, he took Minnesota to the playoffs, right?
He did, but you could tell he was done then after that.
Yeah. That was just his last fuck you to Green Bay. Because
my best guess for this question is I think they get a deal done where he goes to the Colts.
You put a gun to my head, I'm going to say Colts too.
Yeah. And I think they're going to have to eat crow, and they're going to have to pay some of that salary, and they're going to have to kiss their ass in order for them to take them off their hands.
But the good part with that is they got Chicago still interested. So
Winston will be okay under Sean Payton. That remains to be seen.
He's a free agent at the end of the year, is he not?
Well, not this year. He's got one more year with the Saints.
Okay.
And my thing is that remains to be seen because Jameis Winston's another one of those scrambling around crazy quarterbacks that does things. He had 38 interceptions his last year in Tampa. You could say he just had a bad year, but I mean, that I got to see it first. He's got weapons. He's got weapons. The ball. He
had weapons in Tampa Bay too. You know.
Well, he didn't have Tom. He didn't have Antonio Brown and Gronk.
No, but he had Mike Evans. He had O.J. Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had people he can go to.
He did, but I like I said, I'm not 27 40 touchdowns. Yeah, no. He had 38 interceptions. I don't know. I think Michael, you're a Cowboys fan, aren't you? How are the Cowboys going to be this year?
Oh.
Since we don't have Shango, I think Michael either likes the.
He's a Cowboys fan. He said that.
Yeah, Mickey Blue. Mickey Blue either likes the Cowboys. I think he likes the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's a Cowboys fan.
Yeah. Because I remember him on Spitting with Spitter running his mouth or wearing a Cowboys hat.
See where Dax goes. You know how that recovers from that.
Yeah, ask Jerry Jones.
Him and Dan Snyder on a yacht right now. They'll make their picks when they get off.
Yes, I'm a Cowboys fan. Yeah, but who wins the NFC East next? If you pulled a gun to my head right now, I say that Washington wins it. Ron Rivera beat cancer, and the team's going to only be better, I think, than last year, and they won a division last year.
I would say two things depend on that. Actually, one thing: who's going to be under center?
Right. I mean, is it
I
going
think
to
that
be
defense is built
is
the right way.
Playing again?
I don't know.
Yeah. See, Washington wins the division. I think so too.
And it depends on what kind of improvements the Giants make.
You think the Giants got a shot at it?
The division? Yeah, they had a shot this year.
Danny Dimes.
I think you get him a little bit of protection. I think he will be Danny Dimes. We'll see. I mean,
what pick do they have in the draft?
11.
11.
So I'm hoping one of those wide receivers fall down there. You need to get him a weapon. He doesn't have a true number one wide receiver. Without a true number one, it's hard to really judge anybody.
Well, that's why I think the Eagles are going to pick that wide receiver Chase, because I don't think Devonta Smith's going to fall to number 6.
I think he'll go 3. A lot of mock drafts I've seen he's been going 3.
Yeah, so I think Eagles are going to take Chase.
Yeah, even if they don't get one of the big
with
three,
Saquon back, yeah, the Giants will be better. Yes,
running back changes the game. You know, it takes a little bit more pressure off of Danny.
As long as he doesn't get hurt again.
I mean, it was an ACL.
The Eagles with Foles. Robert, you're smoking crack. All right, stop with the Nick Foles. He's not even back yet.
We're talking NFL, not CFL.
Well, next year we get to talk about the XFL comes back.
Yeah, it's coming back, right? The Rock is the new owner. That didn't fall apart yet?
No, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. All the same teams, all the NFL rejects.
I think the best chance for the XFL is to get the NFL on board.
That's what I would do.
And basically
make it kind of like a minor leagues for the NFL.
Exactly.
And kind of like, guys go back and forth. You could send guys back, and the NFL teams kind of have something to do with the XFL teams, and they send guys back and forth.
You can expand the draft too.
There you go.
Sign them to a contract with the XFL. The Rock's going to call me later. We're going to go over everything. I'll show him how to make money.
I think he does that well on its own.
Yeah, he don't need help making money.
Yes, that's a good idea. Plenty of.
Yes, plenty of college kids looking to continue their living. Yeah.
Could go between the leagues, yeah.
There is.
I mean, I don't know how they get that done. I mean, does The Rock have to go to the NFL and try to cut a deal, or where they help each other out, or they promote each other, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Vince McMahon, his whole thing was he wanted to attack the NFL.
Right.
If The Rock takes a different approach and tries to, involve both of them.
I think The Rock is smarter than Vince McMahon.
Oh, yes.
As much respect for Vince McMahon that I have.
Yeah, Vince just a lot of times think his money's going to get him where he needs to go, and it just didn't work in the football industry. Yep. And it's not working too well in the wrestling industry right now either.
All right, well, so without Cousin Phil and without Phil Shango here, Anthony and I have talked long enough about everything. You guys don't forget to tune in to Ciphered Knowledge with Chrissy at 8:00 on Sunday night. Home Team Sports next week, Tuesday. Hopefully Shango and Phil are back, and we may or may not talk about the Daytona 500. Spittin' with Spitter is on tomorrow night at 8:00.
If Earnhardt dies this Daytona 500, we'll have something to talk about.
And Around the Turnbuckle is on Saturday at 6 and Sunday at 6. And I think Kenny Harvin wins the wins the Daytona 500 this Sunday.
I'm gonna go.
Bubba Wallace.
They said they're gonna win more races this year. He promised that.
They did.
I'm gonna go. I don't know. Who's the kid that drives the 20 car? Or used to? Kid that replaced Tony Stewart. I'm going with that kid, whatever his name is.
See, that's how much we know about NASCAR. That's how much we know about NASCAR. And we'll all see you guys next time. Thanks.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Pardon my French, but you're an ass.